So during my swims, especially big swims, I tend not to think about the swims at all. I've throughout the 4 years of training, I've kind of trained my mind into getting into some sort of trance, like a meditative state. Because for me, when I start thinking about what I'm doing, it actually starts happening. So, for example, during my swim, there are a few moments where I'm like, oh, it's cold. So then it started to feel colder than it actually was. But then when I started forgetting about the fact it was cold, I never even noticed the temperature. So that happens that also happens when I think about, say, my shoulders hurt or I'm cramping up. But when I forget about those things, I don't the whole swim. I never noticed how my body was hurting because I tried not to think about it. But usually to help me go into that trance state, I like chant, or then this time I was trying to count my strokes, so I just counted to 8 every single time. I did that for the entire 11 hours. I was just counting to 8 again and again and again. And the only times I probably came out of that was when the boat people were asking me. Like, I was so focused that when everyone was shouting off the side of the boat, it's a feed, or even when the boat honked its horn, I was so into my swim I didn't hear it. Um, but you know what? Throughout the 4 years, I've had a lot of swims where I've been so close to coming out. But during the channel swim, I was, I didn't even have that thought once because I feel like it would be disrespectful to myself and everyone who has helped me throughout these 4 years. I've been training since I was 12 years old, and to put 4 years of training, 4 years of my parents' sacrifice and my coach's sacrifice and my sacrifices, just because I couldn't get my head around the fact I was going to stay in the water for 11 hours. It seems really selfish, but I just kept thinking, 4 years you've dedicated to one day of your life. It can't be that bad. And the weeks before preparing for my swim, I was literally laying in bed. Like, after training, I'd come home, lay in bed, get snacks, like stay in bed all day, just watching movies. And I kept thinking, okay, this is training for the channel. This is the only reason I'm allowing myself to stay in bed. So if I ever did come into those sour points in my swim, I think no, because you have you can't even say that I'd rather be at home in bed, because you've had a lot of time to be at home in bed. Like, you have these moments, like everyone has moments that they're gonna wanna get out, but the 5 minutes you get out, you're going to feel guilty, because I just knew there's been like one swim. There was one swim in 2020 where I came out, and I haven't forgotten that feeling. And since then, I've never ever abandoned a swim, because I got out because it was cold. But then 5 minutes after I got out, I was fine. And when I got home, I felt so guilty. So I just kept thinking, if I ever did come into those rough patches mentally, then I think you just I just know that I'm going to be okay. If I'm Someone told me, um if you're not, like, you just think to yourself, if you like, are your arms still turning? Are you alive? If the answer is yes to both of those, then you can keep swimming. As long as you're alive, you can keep swimming. And for 4 years, my coach has been saying the same thing, that swimming is 60% mental and 40% physical. So I think when you just get used to the fact, um that this is like, that's where you're meant to be. Like, one of the last things my coach has told me is, this is where you're meant to be, and this is it. This is what you're meant to do. So that just I kept telling myself that over and over again, and I think all this training has just prepared me for it mentally as well as physically. So I want to go into medicine, or definitely like um the sports physio, or um sports psychology, that kind of field, or physiotherapy. Um, right now I'm about to do my A levels. So, well, I'm doing my AS, and then I'm going to be doing my A levels. So my work has got considerably hard compared to my GCSEs. So um, I do need a lot more time to focus on my studies, but that will not stop me from continuing swimming, because swimming to me is like free time. So I'd rather come home from school, and instead of going on my phone, I'd rather go down to my lake, like because my free time and swimming are almost the same thing. Like I enjoy, that's my calm place. I go there to chill. So I'd much rather go from school to the lake to back to revising or doing whatever. But in terms of what I want to swim next, I haven't thought about it, but I know, actually I have thought about it, that's a lie. Um, there's just a lot of options, maybe a two-way channel, but I definitely want to complete a 24-hour swim. I'm not sure when that would be, but I really want to do a 24-hour swim. But I know that after the channel, the swims are only going to keep getting bigger. I just like, as everyone knows, this is just the start, and I'm going to do so many bigger swims. And yeah.